was so big he took over control of the sea from well, actually, he got the food from, I don't know that he actually had control. When he got the food from Rama, he wouldn't be killed in the daylight or nighttime. When we killed indoors or outdoors, on the ground in the sky. Not by human, not by animals. Yeah. Amazing. So he had it there. But, see, we can take this to show us that if Krishna enabling him to receive the ability he had, just look at that, to perform against Krishna's energy. Because he was stopping from sacrificing and all the heretical activity, denying the powers of the Supreme Person, Krishna. And yet, wasn't able to gain a position in the universe that was far superior to all of the living entities. So then what will he do for the devotee who humbly seeks to be that able vessel of Krishna's truth, a shining light in the world of darkness? Then we are seeking with the purity of our hearts to find that place in God's purpose that will be most pleasing to God Himself, and put aside all our own intents, hopes, desires, wants, and just realize that God has a better idea for us than we can make up for ourselves. And then be willing to surrender to the thought that God puts in our mind. When we have that mood of surrender, Krishna, you take over my life. You guide my life. I want to do what is pleasing to you. Then when Krishna puts it in our minds what that is, then we should act upon that function, because we will. But this is brought about by careful counsel with one's guru. One surrendering to the spiritual master is in effect one surrender to Krishna. Well, that you're giving over your own free will to that one you're recognizing has the ability to give you proper guidance that you wouldn't have yourself without their help. This is the idea of education to begin with. But we don't realize it, or we don't, in most societies, it's not thought of a lifelong experience. And that is because all those experiences of education in this material world are for the sake of using the temporary material energy. And they don't develop eternal relationships. So you don't see many after their years in school, some people retain their relationships with their educators. But those educators educated in the systems of academia in this material world are not set up now, presently, to be able to give the participants of their activities the eternal rewards that they should be getting. See, that's where society is actually robbing the souls of participants in the community from their eternal relationship and the knowing of what that eternal responsibility is. We can take part in activities here that are also being taken part of in the spiritual world, even though they will be of a more elevated nature. But by guidance of one who has also been on the path that the master before them has been on, then they have for us to experience, for us, just like we can learn from the mistakes of others, we can also take the knowledge of and gain right now the experience of their 40, 50 years. They are passing down to us by the privilege we gain by surrender, by reverence, by acknowledging the fact that they have superior knowledge to us. And this puts in the heart of the mentor, like a brother wants to give us this knowledge. And this is the mood of Krishna as well. We've gone to such length to come into this material universe from where he was, to be able to enable all the living entities in the material universe to return to the eternal life. And when you put it like that, it almost seems like a decision that wouldn't have required much thinking at all. When you compare eternal to temporary, it wouldn't seem like it would be a big decision that would have to be studied and questioned, analyzed. We do with our mind, with the concept of eternity being presented by all spiritual paths versus the concepts of this world being the all in all there ever will be, never was, and never will be, for us to be able to experience. And one who looks at these two perspectives objectively will have to include one is limited, very much limited, in its perspective and its ability to develop consciousness, which is our experience of life. That which we are having as thoughts of the mind is that which we're calling consciousness. And those experiences are governed by our interaction with the material energy, unless we are spending time constantly immersing the mind in spiritual energy, which is gained by studying books. And the more time we spend in the spiritual energy, the more percentage there is of our leaving this body while being engaged in the spiritual energy, so that it will be continuing its journey when we. And that is the promise of Vedas, that is the reason for us taking this process up. It is not only to make this a better place to experience, but to know that there's a better place beyond this temporary place, which in comparison makes this place look like a school. We could say kindly, like the bus stop, or the train stop, or if we're on a boat, then it's port. We're sitting at port waiting to reach the other port, or we're on our way to the journey through the spiritual realm, where every form of life is working for the same purpose as every other form. And therefore they're all engaged with the experience of that family towards one another. They're all serving the same purpose. And they're all sharing the same loving experiences with one another about the same person, Krishna. And we have and so many varieties of subjects. Go to the search engine of database, type in the subject matter you'd like to see the gentleman do, and you'll find out what Srila Prabhupada has given to humankind in the way of knowledge. And just like he has said that can't and impossible are words in the fool's dictionary, we can take that word to know that Srila Prabhupada uses in his vocabulary, which he would consider his own dictionary of his mind, that there are concepts that do not exist in the mundane vocabulary of most people's mind. So there is a lot of vocabulary that people need to add to their perceptions of what life is all about that can do nothing but enhance one's experience of life itself. These long-founded truths of ancient sages of thousands of years ago are meant for mankind to be able to develop and pass down as knowledge so that all future generations can become more advanced. But it seems in this day and age, the modern tendency is to look down upon the ancient wisdom as that which is, as it's called, old-fashioned, and not applicable to this day and age. But if you will read yourself the ancient teachings, the most ancient teachings of the most knowledgeable soul, you will find within yourself the ability to apply to your time and circumstance those teachings, because those teachings that have everlasting ability to give the participant who reads the advice given for spiritual practices, specifically the chanting Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare. This practice specifically has been empowered with all the spiritual energy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, specifically for the soul itself to experience relief from material energy, release from the effects of the material energy, removal of the reactions and the causing of future reactions, total removal and freedom from the bonds that those energies, lower energies of the material universe, force one to suffer when they leave these bodies. Without the supreme divine purpose of life to free us from the effects of the material energy, we will be subject to, just like we are every day, subjected to the effects of our involvement with the material energy. It will continue after we leave these bodies. So it is very important to know we have to get out of the material energy and engage in the spiritual, which is the difference between night and day, temporary and permanently eternal. We want to know the substance of that that is our own very nature. And that's what we're looking for and everything else we're searching for in this world. Not knowing. We're searching only if we do not know that those substances in this material world do not have the eternal spiritual effect that chanting of the holy names of God, that reading sacred literatures about the activities of the Supreme Person will have upon our mind. So we want to, as much as possible, as much as we are given the ability to do it, immerse ourselves in these teachings and allow the soul to know itself. The substance of these teachings give us the experience of is love. The substance these teachings give us the experience of is love. Let's say it one more time. The substance these teachings give us the experience of is love. And that's what we need. Love is life. Life is meant to be experiencing love. And Krishna gives his name for us to be able to experience that all day long. Yeah. We are the great receivers of that which God has given to all those who want it. Unlimited access. Yes. And total freedom. Spiritually to be free, moral agents, bringing morality, the teachings of truth that give the soul ability to function the way it was put here to function. And by that doing, then to experience life as it was meant to be experienced. Experience love. Experience life as love in you. Life is love in us. We are. You are a part of love. Love has made you. Love has breathed you into existence. And you were in that very form one time. But by desire we separate. And by desire we return. Well, it's all by desire. But let's desire that which is best for us. Thing to conclude. We make the decision between the eternal and the temporary. Easy decision. I'll take the eternal all the time. Any questions? Any realization? Have a glorious day.
Krishna